Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Samuel Joes. Welcome to this speech on Communication Arts 103. This is a tutorial on how to draw. Drawing is in itself a means of expression, just like writing. People seem to misconstrue drawing as this little insignificant thing that people do just to buy time, waste time, especially in third world countries or people who immigrate to the US looking to better their lives. They're focused on what is now instead of, self-expression. They see all these minimal things that distract from school or distract from your own personal success as useless. So, anything from just drawing a little stick figure on your notebook to just doodling, just anything. They see that as pointless. But drawing in itself, why draw? Drawing in itself is a very useful tool in your life. I've turned it from merely just regular drawing to being able to take notes and break down concepts in a visual manner. Exactly how we do with mind mapping, a point we've discussed in this class itself. Mind mapping is a tool for brainstorming. Mind mapping gives you the ability to be analytical with what you do, to see things for what they are, and to break them down into usable pieces to get feedback on. So, what I'm about to show you is my personal experience in this art. These are all doodles so far. I've been drawing since the age of 6. On and off again. This is very much self-taught. I'm very much a more graphic kind of person. You won't see any blood or guts in this. It's going to be just, honestly, faces or just little doodles. I like to use drawing for studying things. For example, human anatomy, how people make expression. If you want to pause at any one of these drawings just to look at them and just take notes or whatever, you're more than welcome to hit that pause button. So, right here. I've attended College of Creative Studies my freshman year, so that gave me a bit more of an understanding from other professors on the understandings of how to draw. As you can see right here, this is my breakdown, for example, on breaking down fighting styles in martial arts. This is a boxing style that I've been breaking down. I've been interested in martial arts my whole life as well. So you got the styles here, the types of guards, how people have used them, manner of footwork, body positioning, all these things. Drawing isn't useless. Don't let anybody else shoot you down like that. Never. Oh boy, everything tipped. Don't let people shoot you down. Like, whatever you're passionate about, go 100% into it. Even if people don't see the value in it, because that's where you shock people. So, all right. Let's go into how to actually draw. You've seen how I've drawn. Now it's time for you guys to learn. So, there are a couple of things for the fundamentals of drawing. The fundamentals of drawing contain four things. There is line, shape, perspective, and value. These are the fundamentals. If you are able to master at least one of these things, it allows you to basically use it to your own style. You get this fundamentals down and you're going to be a pretty decent artist. In fact, get these down so you can get into the more fancier styles of drawing. So, how do you get started drawing? So the first thing you got to do is understand how to do lines. So line work, all you got to do is work on how you do pastel. So all you're going to do is just start drawing lines. The way you draw lines, like so, you just go from one point to the other. in every fashion. How you do this, you're not doing from your wrist. You can do it. This is one way of getting the smaller details. But the posture is you're working from your shoulder. There's 3 ways to get these lines straight. And you should practice having straight lines. You're either working from your shoulder end, where you're kind of like having everything loose but kind of stiff, and you're going like from one end to the other in a kind of gliding fashion, allowing your shoulder to do most of the majority work. There's the elbow, which is much more for these type of papers. This is more the type of printing paper you get, A12 printing paper. You get, if you're able to, for example, you can do a exercise to work on straightening your lines, because straightening your lines will help in defining them later to make your art stand out. It helps you like make whatever character you have pop. So if you're able to master the small little lines and make the big lines actually like thicker, you know, it will really help. So one exercise you can do is make 2 dots on each side of the end and just start firing. You know you're going too fast if it just kind of like streaks. You know you're going too slow if you see many curves. Just find your pace. That's line work. Shapes. Shapes is what will help you in your drawing. Whatever you see, whatever you saw right now, it seemed very complex, didn't it? Most of the complex things you see in art first started off as very simple pieces. So, understanding what's the most simplest thing you can break something down. When you see a hand, this is just a bunch of squares and rectangles or whatever shape. This can be like a triangle. If you can break something down into a simpler shape, you can finally work with it. It's the same thing as mind mapping. You're just taking a big piece and you're breaking it down into little branches that break down into little branches. It's literally like a hand. Mind mapping is like a hand. It has its own little branches. So shape, if I say wanted to learn how to draw people, you're just drawing a square. Practice, after you get line work done, practice drawing squares. Practice making them correct. Come on, Sammy. Okay, come on. All these other things like line of action you can learn in another drawing class where if you want to learn how to draw people. And I should have done that a speech on this too, actually. That's another good idea for drawing. How to draw people and poses. You know, this obviously you can recognize as the torso. This is you can recognize as the hips. Now, when it comes to perspective, that's what helps people understand in your drawing how far or how close something is. It allows you to establish the background and foreground. It allows you to establish a scene. So there's 3 types of perspective. There's first, second, and third. First perspective is like you're facing the person head on, the front of the box. It's also interesting on a side note how people can recognize this as a face, even though it's 2 dots in the line. Second perspective is like looking at it at its corner. Oh. It kind of extends off into the end. Third perspective is like looking at top of a ceiling. It's like looking from below the box or above it. You can understand perspective like a horizon. First perspective is just a dot in the middle, and you're extending lines, just like we were practicing the first one, out. Any way, any direction. This will help you understand how to draw buildings. This will help you understand how things are formed, how things look in the distance, how things break down. You're just drawing lines. Second perspective, same idea. You're working with a horizon, except you're putting 2 points on either end. Doesn't have to be the exact ends. In fact, it can be close if you want to make it real smushed. And you're trying to draw lines wherever, but they're meeting each other. Boom, boom. The vertical lines stay straight. Anything above or below the horizon makes it seem like it's taller or shorter. Third person's perspective gets interesting because it's basically a triangle. Boom, boom, bing. So everything that extends from that below line creates the shape. Boom, boom. Anyways, yeah, that's perspective. Shading, finally, is defining those light and dark. Ballpoint pen is almost identical to pencil. Hopefully you're working with a pencil. As in, it defines the same way. With this stuff, you can... Understanding value is understanding the light from the dark. So you take your shapes you've been working with and you point a light at them at a certain direction. Also, I forgot to mention, with the line, you can also work on drawing circles. So light's coming at it this way is getting into practice of understanding how light affects shadow. And this is going to be a bit tough for some people because there's value. You have it's also working with whatever paper you got. So you have to establish the lightest parts. You have the lightest parts, you have the darkest parts, and then you have to blend it into whatever paper you're working with to get that medium, to make it seem like it's a shape. That's what separates the beginner drawers from the advanced drawers. Understanding value and understanding shape. Because you can start working with complex. If you can master the simple shading, you can move on to complex shapes, like a hand. You understand how the form is already, so you can start shading. Ball and point is actually my favorite part, my recent favorite way of drawing, actually. So there's a value system. This allows you to define what is close and what is far. Usually the things that are close are the darkest, and whatever is far is pretty grayed out with the background. So value also allows you to establish the texture of it. So with ball and point pen, what we've been working on is cross-hatching. So it defines value through texture. So yeah, that's 4 pieces of fundamentals of drawing. You can take this and practice at least just for 10 minutes a day. Doesn't have to be something extreme. You just literally allow yourself to get into the groove of things, to make it a habit. All our life really is is just habit. All our life is defined by that habit. So once you get into the groove of things and once it becomes second nature to you, everything sort of sets itself together. Just you don't have to focus on multiple things at a time. My biggest advice I can give to you that has helped me so far in life, honestly, it's helped me with a lot of things. Don't focus on multiple things at a time. Focus on one single thing and continue doing it continuously. So, all right, guys. Thank you. Let me know what your thoughts are.